I do. My husband actually met him first, and then he and his wife came to New York from Omaha, and we had lunch at an East Side restaurant that I don't think is in existence anymore, Brussels. Do you remember Brussels?
Indeed, yes.
And we had a great time, and we sort of became friends then and just stayed friends.
Tell me about the book now, because you have followed Warren Buffett's career for many years, when he was not the luminary, when he was not the sage of Omaha that we know him today.
Well, I've actually known him 45 years, the book, it occurred to me when we got to 40 years of covering him and Fortune, that there might be a book here, and it took me 6 years to get it done. But in the meantime, he did all of these things that kind of expanded his world. The Giving Pledge, for example. He made a bet that with somebody that $1 million bet, that an index fund could beat a collection of hedge funds. So the book is better because we sort of stayed around for 6 years.
I want to ask you about some of the details in the book. Let's start off, because we know that the government and lawmakers are wrangling over the fiscal cliff.
Right.
Warren Buffett, a Democrat. His father was a 4-term Republican congressman from Nebraska.
That's right.
How did this transformation take place?
Well, Warren was a Republican, too, while he was sort of through college.
He was going to ride an elephant at one point, wasn't he, when he was at the University of Pennsylvania?
He was. He was prepared to do anything that the Republicans wanted him to do in those years. And then he got married, and his wife, I think, was converted him somewhat to being a Democrat. But he also became very aware of things like the civil rights movement. He believes in a safety net. The Republicans don't believe as much in a safety net. And he just fell and has been very comfortable as a Democrat for a lot of years.
There's part of the book that talks about Warren Buffett's involvement with Salomon Brothers, and how that, in revisiting that topic, brought up images of Lehman Brothers.
Yes.
What do you take away from that experience?
Well, I think that if the threat hadn't been averted, that Salomon would have been what Lehman became, how many years later? 17 years later. And the fact is that Salomon had a real chance to go under in 1991, and Warren managed to talk Corrigan, et cetera, out of it, and it survived. But there's a sentence in there that says, you know, if this hadn't happened, the whole financial world could have been in real peril. And I do believe that we then saw it, the exact same thing, basically, when Lehman came along, and we saw what happened, something really pretty terrible.
Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, what did they bond over?
I think it was their minds. Obviously, there's 25 years in difference in age, but there's certain chemistry between them. Both are so smart. They're very different. They both like bridge. That helps. And they now are on the same philanthropy track. There are just a lot of things that they have in common.
Grinnell College also features in the book. Explain that.
Warren went on the board of Grinnell College because a friend, Joe Rosenfield, asked him to. And as Warren said, Joe was a hard man too. I knew him too. He was a hard man to turn down. And they ran the endowment together. They bought a television station for Grinnell. How odd is that? That never happens. It probably should happen more, that kind of thing more often.